I'm living soon, and you'll forgive me if I speak bluntly. The universe grows smaller every day, and the threat of aggression by any group, anywhere, can no longer be tolerated. There must be security for all, or no one is secure. Now, this does not mean giving up any freedom, except the freedom to act irresponsibly. Your ancestors knew this when they made laws to govern themselves and hired policemen to enforce them. So, do you want me to continue the second paragraph as well?
Yeah, read the whole thing if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. We of the other planets have long accepted this principle. We have an organization for the mutual protection of all planets and for the complete elimination of aggression. The test of any such higher authority is, of course, the police force that supports it. For our policemen, we created a race of robots. Their function is to patrol the planets in spaceships like this one and preserve the peace. In matters of aggression, we have given them absolute power over us. This power cannot be revoked. With the first sign of violence, they act automatically against the aggressor. The penalty for provoking their action is too terrible to risk. The result is we live in peace without arms or armies, secure in the knowledge that we are free from aggression and war, free to pursue more profitable
More
enterprises.
enterprises. Yeah.
Now we do not pretend to have achieved perfection, but we do have a system and it works. I came here to give these facts. It is no concern of ours how you run your own planet. But if you threaten to extend your violence, this earth of yours will be reduced to a burned out cinder. Your choice is simple: join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration. We shall be waiting for your answer. The decision rests with you.
Good. The decision. Decision. All right, good. So I noticed that you still have a bit of issue with the B&W.
Mhm.
Violence. And, well, there's a couple times where you said V. So you had said violence and V. So VW, keep those in mind. Okay, so violence, we, world, water, waiting. So that was one thing that I noticed. How did you feel reading that? Was it okay? Did you feel
Yeah,
comfortable?
it's okay. It's comfortable.
Okay. Sometimes you have an issue where you pronounce I as E. Um, Sometimes you say things like waiting, so keep that in mind. Syllable emphasis, which is one of the main tenets. The accent or the emphasis on this is police. It's on the second syllable. And it's also on the second syllable for policeman, police, because you were saying police, policeman. So
Mhm.
that's just, it's very subtle. It's almost no difference at all, really, when it comes to understanding. But as far as the accent goes, it's on the second syllable. Police, policeman. Um, there was a couple of other ones, but I think maybe it was a case where you might not have been familiar with the words. So I wanted to do this one because it is very, very simple, proper English, right? It's not,
Yes.
bet you could have done it, you know, you wanna good, so we do have those, but in this particular speech, this is very perfect English. It's very official. So this is something that is being spoken to a group, let's say over a radio. or a newscast or in front of a group of people. So the English is very, very proper, even though it's American English. Whereas the next one I'm going to show you, it's a lot more sloppy, a lot more personal, a lot more interpersonal dialogue. So what I'm going to do, just for the sake, because I don't like to really underline things as you're going, because I feel like that's distracting. I will say tolerated, accent on the first syllable, because you had said tolerated. You put it on the third syllable, and that's not how we say it. Tolerate, tolerable, tolerated. The accent is on the first syllable, tolerated. This is secure. Okay, there might have been a couple of other ones, but for the most part, your tempo was excellent. You're an excellent reader out loud. So if we can find a way to make you just consciously slow down when you're speaking freely, then that will become more natural for you as well. A couple of other things. Obviously, your rolled R's, they do persist. So that is what you have to work on the absolute most. What was a couple of other ones? So the vowels, yeah, the only vowel, your A's are pretty good, and your E's are good, but your I's, you tend to pronounce them as an E. So like you, provoking, you sort of said provoking. So ing, which we, the gerund, anything that has ing, not ing. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna read this real quick, just so you can hear exactly how it sounds in the North American dialect. So, I am leaving soon, and you will forgive me if I speak bluntly. The universe grows smaller every day, and the threat of aggression by any group, anywhere, can no longer be tolerated. There must be security for all, or no one is secure. Now, this does not mean giving up any freedom, except the freedom to act irresponsibly. Your ancestors knew this when they made the laws to govern themselves and hired policemen to enforce them. We of the other planets have long accepted this principle. We have an organization for the mutual protection of all planets and for the complete elimination of aggression. The test of any such higher authority is, of course, the police force that supports it. For our policemen, we created a race of robots. Their function is to patrol the planets in spaceships like this one and preserve the peace. In matters of aggression, we have given them absolute power over us. This power cannot be revoked. At the first sign of violence, they act automatically against the aggressor. The penalty for provoking their action is too terrible to risk. The result is we live in peace, without arms or armies, secure in the knowledge that we are free from aggression and war, free to pursue more profitable enterprises. Now, we do not pretend to have achieved perfection, but we do have a system, and it works. I came here to give you these facts. It is no concern of ours how you run your own planet. But if you threaten to extend your violence, this Earth of yours will be reduced to a burned-out cinder. Your choice is simple. Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration. We shall be waiting for your answer. The decision rests with you. All right, so you might have heard as I was reading that just how many R's there are in the English language, like just how much the American accent relies on R. If I was to really accentuate the R's, it would be, but if you threaten to extend your violence, this Earth of yours will be reduced to a burned out cinder. Your choice is simple. join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration. We shall be waiting for your answer. The decision rests with you. So obviously nobody talks that much with the accent on the R, but that's important to know. Every R sounds the same in American English. I know I tell you that all the time, but just it's worth repeating. There's never any difference in an R sound, no matter where it is. Run at the beginning, your at the end, terrible in the middle of a word. All the R's sound the same. Yeah, this was an odd speech, but I like it because it's such simple English.
Mhm.
Do you find that your R's, you have an easier time with R's if they're placed in different parts of a word? So here it's not at the beginning, right? Irresponsibly. Here it's at the end. Your, govern. Do you find that it's easier for you to say the R in an American way if it's in a different place in the word?
Yeah, I think like if the R's are in the starting, I feel like it's much more comfortable like than the R's in the last. Like
Right.
the layer, like go on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think because there's nothing buffering it. So if an R starts a word, it's fine. But if an R is surrounded by vowels, then it's a little harder.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's at the end of a word. I'm not sure, because I think you might roll the second. You might say, because you can say run, but you might say errand and you might say weather.